Good morning and welcome to the Cathedral Church of St. Paul. My name is Joseph Alsay, and I have the distinct privilege of serving this wonderful faith community as her dean. We're a church that is rooted in prayer, grounded in justice. And the Hebrew Scriptures remind us in the book of Deuteronomy, "You shall love the stranger, for you yourselves were strangers in the land of Egypt." And Jesus says even more clearly, "Just as you did it to one of the least of these, you did it to me." And so we are a people commanded to welcome the stranger.
Yes.
We are obligated to protect the vulnerable. And we believe that God calls communities to shape the world we share. And so that's why we, as people of various faith communities, are gathered in this sacred space within these walls of prayer. We are a people of faith that come at a moment when silence becomes complicity.
Yes.
So we say no.
No.
No more. No more federal immigration agents roaming our neighborhoods. No.
No.
No more federal armed enforcement in our streets. No.
No.
No more terror at bus stops, courthouses, schools, and places of worship. Arresting 5-year-old children shall not be done in our name.
No.
Harassing and beating people in the streets shall not be done in our name.
No.
Tearing families apart shall not be done in our name.
No.
Killing protesters shall not be done in our name.
No.
And unless we speak clearly and loudly, we are complicit. We are complicit not only as citizens, but as taxpayers.
Yes.
And all our prayers, all of our outrage, all of our righteous words mean nothing if we continue to fund violence carried out in our name. And that's why we're here today, to say to our senators, no. No. No more money for ICE. We are not calling for open borders. We are not calling for the end of law. We are calling for an end to mass militarized immigration enforcement inside our communities.
Yes.
ICE has shown again and again that it cannot be trusted with vast public funds or unchecked power.
Yes.
So no. No reforms. No. No promises. No new training. We must simply say no. We will no longer pay for fear in our streets. We will no longer fund the destruction of families. We will no longer be morally or financially complicit. And so today, our message is crystal clear. Don't pay for it. Just don't pay for it. And now I invite my wonderful colleague and the shepherd of this wonderful diocese, the Right Reverend Dr. Bonnie A. Perry, to speak.
Good morning, friends.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Bonnie Perry, and I serve as the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Michigan, and I'm delighted that all of you are here in this cathedral. Now, you've come from all over the diocese and around the state And we've come here because what we're talking about today may matter almost more than anything else we have ever spoken of here.
Amen.
And we are here to say that we want to end mass militarized immigration enforcement in our communities.
Yes.
No more.
No more.
No more ICE in its current configuration. And I want to offer you a story that my colleague, who is the Episcopal bishop in the Diocese of Minnesota, told me last week. One of his lay leaders in a church much like this one was stuck in traffic in Minneapolis. The traffic jam was the result of ICE activity. She wasn't involved in the activity. She wasn't protesting. She wasn't observing. She was stuck in traffic. She wasn't far from the car that ICE had stopped. She is a white, middle-aged woman who is a citizen of the United States of America, who has lived here all her life, never lived anywhere else. And on that day, she happened to be near the car that ICE had stopped. And so then they came and surrounded her car and broke her car window without warning, dragged her out of the car, restrained her, arrested her, and detained her for 2.5 hours in their station before they released her. She had done nothing, and they did that to her for no purpose, for no reason, with no process, no due process, because they can, and they could, and they did. And Bishop Loya said to me, Bonnie, that's just one story. It's happening all over Minneapolis. And friends, we also know it's happening around our country. And I want to ask you the same question 154 Episcopal bishops throughout our country asked, whose dignity matters? Everyone. In that moment, hers certainly didn't. J.D. Vance said that ICE agents have complete immunity. As a matter of law, we know that's not true. But when someone is masked, with no name tags, no badge numbers, how do you complain? What's our recourse? Whose dignity matters? Everyone. In this sort of country, is this what we want to live in? Where we do not matter? No. Where anyone, someone who looks like me, or you, someone who looks like you, someone who looks like you, where anyone, black or brown, Asian, Native American, anyone can be arrested, all under the guise of the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and Border Patrol protecting us. Whose dignity matters, whose life matters, and we know the names of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. But there are more who have been killed by ICE and Border Patrol. There are others, and their names are not so famous. What about Geraldo Lunes Campos? He was being held in ICE detention. The ICE press release for his death said that he had medical issues, medical help was rendered, and he died in spite of their help. The El Paso medical examiner said that Mr. Campos died via asphyxiation due to neck and torso compression. The medical examiner concluded the manner of death is homicide. He was choked to death by his guards. What about Luis Gustavos Cáceres, or Pada de la, or Luis Yanis Cruz, also died in ICE custody due to inadequate medical care. ICE says that Victor Diaz and Herba Dominguez killed themselves in detention. But we don't know, because ICE is blocking independent investigations. What would the local medical examiners say about them? And these are the names we know. How many more? Whose dignity matters. 32 people died in ICE detention last year. Their lives, their stories, they matter. These people matter because, as we know, as the book of Genesis tells us, absolutely everyone is made in God's image and likeness. Every single one of us is of God.
Absolutely.
Some are saying ICE needs better training. I'm not so sure. The man who killed Renee Good was an experienced ICE firearms trainer with more than a decade on the force. The men who killed Alex Preddy were veterans of the Border Patrol, each with more than a decade of experience. This isn't about training. I might even say that they are actually doing what they were trained to do. This is about whether or not our elected officials will vote to continue to fund a masked, militarized immigration force that is scourging our communities. And as our senators consider their response to this crisis, we urge them to use the one power they have, the power of the purse. Do not pay for this, none of it. In the last budget, ICE Border Patrol were given $170 billion. Do you know that number is triple what the United States Marine Corps received in the budget? I have to tell you, as the daughter of a Marine Lieutenant Colonel, I am appalled. It's offensive. They want $65 million more. We should not be surprised if we fund ICE like an army, that they act like a masked, occupying army. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Peacemakers do not turn away from violence. And as people of faith and people of goodwill, lay and clergy, we are called to be people who will not turn from this violence. We will see it, we will stand against it, and we need our senators to not let our tax dollars pay for this. What can we do? Call, write, email all of our senators and tell them not to fund DHS. None. We are done with masked, militarized immigration enforcement in our communities. Fix the broken immigration system another way. Amen. Rabbi.
My name is Alana Alpert, and I serve as the rabbi of Congregation Techia. In 1965, as excessive state violence was being unleashed against the black citizens in Selma, Alabama, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. sent out a nationwide call to faith leaders to join him in leading a march to Montgomery. This call was answered by clergy across the country, marking a turning point in the civil rights movement. 66 years later, in the same spirit and with the same clarity as Dr. King's call, clergy in Minneapolis asked faith activists from across the country to join them in praying with their feet against the atrocities being committed by Immigration Customs and Enforcement against the good people of their state. The invitation included the following: the people of Minneapolis will continue to struggle for an end to suffering and violence and to redeem the soul of this nation. But this moment also demands that others come to witness what is being tested here, to learn from how communities are responding, and to help bear the burden together. What is unfolding in Minneapolis will not stay here. We therefore call on clergy and faith leaders of all faiths, representative of every part of the country, to join us for a day of witness and resistance and working convening rooted in accountability to impacted communities and designed to build the relationships, skills, and commitments needed for sustained action across the country. In this way, all who come will bear witness to the fact that the struggle in Minneapolis is for a new America, a new beloved community, and a new democracy everywhere in the world. And that's what we did. 600 faith leaders came. I hear 1,000 tried, but they had to say,
There are only so many.
Next time, yes. 600 faith leaders learned, took action, bore witness to a city under occupation. We heard story after story of horror and heartbreak, of the indescribable pain of tear gas, of neighbors dragged through the snow in flip-flops, of nursing children separated from their mothers. Reverend Gerald Osorto, a local ELCA pastor who serves a majority immigrant congregation, told us that they had been preparing for this moment for over a year. He said, our families drew up paperwork, delegation of parental authority forms, so that if they were put in detention, their children would not be alone. We found people lawyers so they could navigate the legal system where no one else is looking out for them. We anticipated this time of trial, he said, but still we pray, libranos del mal, deliver us from evil. We heard stories of courage, creativity, and resilience. Hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans taking part in community protection, standing on corners, watching at schools, driving the streets, watching out for ICE, showing up for one another. Thousands of neighbors, they believe, have been saved from abduction through these nonviolent tactics.
Yes.
Because of their courage, even in the face of threats of violence or unjust arrest. Rabbi Ariel Lekach Rosenberg of Minneapolis spoke to us saying, beneath this paramilitary invasion of our community, something new is growing. A civil society beneath the one ICE denies us. Underground healthcare because ICE is in the hospitals. Hybrid schooling because ICE abducts parents, teachers, students. Food distribution because ICE patrols our neighborhood stores. Neighbors bringing breast milk to babies whose mothers have been abducted. The scale and stakes of what we now create for one another are immense, impossible, and urgent, and they confirm what we've always known. We need each other, and together we are irrepressible.
Yes, yes.
I had the privilege of traveling to be a part of this gathering, and I returned full of rage and inspiration. Trump messed with the wrong city. The people of Minneapolis are resilient, they're creative, and they are extremely connected to one another. We mostly listened and learned, but we also had opportunities to take action at a temperature that made me miss Detroit. Negative 30-degree wind chill. Over 100 clergy were arrested demonstrating at the airport. And at a protest inside of Target downtown, we demanded that the Minnesotan corporation stop colluding with ICE, in particular allowing them to use their parking lots for staging. We then joined tens of thousands of Minnesotans to march and rally, full of rage and prayer. A few days later, more than 60 Minneapolis-based CEOs finally spoke out. I'll close with a couple key lessons from Minneapolis that should be obvious. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know your neighbors. Get comfortable being in new coalitions. Some of us have never worked together before. We don't agree on everything, and we are putting that aside in a holy place, not forgetting that there are real conflicts that deserve our attention, but we are united, and we will not let those disagreements get in the way of us fighting together. And the last lesson is that we must sing. And there's incredible music coming out of Minneapolis, and I'm gonna cancel my 12 o'clock because just in case some of you wanna sing with me. May the strength and love of the people of Minneapolis inspire us here in Detroit and around this country to love and protect each other and to fight for the multiracial democracy that we deserve.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Nice.
My name is Reverend Dr. Jill Hart Zundel. I am a retired clergy, but I serve as the Immigration Task Force Chair for the Michigan Conference of the United Methodist Church. When I served Detroit Central United Methodist Church, just down the road from here, in 2017, we became a sanctuary church. We took in the Ranksburgi family. The father of the family, dead, was threatened with deportation, even though he had received a humanitarian stay to take care of his wife Flora, who had MS. They lived in our church for 3.5 years until we reached an agreement with the government to allow him to stay. I said at that first press conference concerning dead that if Donald Trump wanted this family, he was going to have to come through us. I say the same thing today.
All right.
Tomorrow, Dead has another hearing. He is being brought before immigration court again. So we ask for your prayers for his safety and protection. When he lived in the church, we dealt with ICE circling our parking lot, but they never tried to enter the church. They respected the sensitive locations, but we know that that is not around anymore. Today, we are not dealing with a few bad apples or a rogue agency.
Right.
ICE and Border Patrol are doing in Minnesota and across the country what they have always done.
Yeah.
Now it's being televised. They have enough money to be the third largest military in the world. So let us talk about where that money is going. ICE needs to hire a lot of agents fast to hit their deportation quotas. So they are using $100 million of our taxpayer dollars to go on a recruiting spree. Some of their recruitment materials feature lyrics from neo-Nazi anthems and quotes from neo-Nazi literature. Agents are then hired without background checks or really any process at all. Is it little wonder then that ICE and Border Patrol are pushed through with little or no training so they can meet this ever-increasing quota set randomly by Stephen Miller? 250 Border Patrol agents are arrested every single year for corruption and abusing detainees. ProPublica recently reported that in the past few years, 30 ICE and Border Patrol agents have been arrested for sex crimes, including 20 involving children. A class action lawsuit alleges that women in the El Paso ICE detention center were subjected to systematic sexual abuse. The inspector generals were investigating these reports, but Trump has fired all the inspector generals. There is literally no one to hold ICE accountable. We've become aware of the abuse that ICE is heaping on people in Minnesota because it's happening out in the open where people can see it and record it.
Yes.
But so much of that abuse happens behind closed doors. As Bishop Perry mentioned, at least 32 people have died in ICE detention last year. So let's take a moment to talk about those detention centers. A recent inspection by Representative Ro Khanna found deplorable conditions in California's largest detention center. Detainees were denied access to medical care. They were denied access to their attorneys. The food was inedible. And I don't mean badly cooked. I mean it was filled with rocks so that the detainees would break their teeth. The whole goal is to inflict as much suffering as possible so that detainees sign away their right to a hearing and self-deport. Fort Bliss, Texas has become notorious. Deported detainees report a wide range of physical abuse, including beatings and sexual violence. Multiple male detainees reported that guards would grab their genitals and squeeze until they were crushed. Another reported that guards jammed their fingers into his ears so hard that he is now deaf in one ear. ICE is arresting so many people that they have run out of prisons. So they are using their billions of dollars to go around the country buying warehouses to convert them into detention centers.
No.
Sit with that for a moment. Warehouses for people. This government has dehumanized the migrant.
Yeah.
We are all created in the image of God and deserve to be treated
Yes.
with dignity and respect.
Yes.
The Senate must come to their senses.
Yes.
To spend our public dollars on the systematic abuse of our communities is morally repugnant. A government that abuses its own people does not deserve to function.
No.
Take away their money, take away their power. I want everyone to call their senators today.
Yes.
Tell them no more funding for this madness. We are also announcing an online town hall meeting tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Yes.
We will be sharing these specific instructions about how regular people can join the fight in their own communities. ICE out of Minnesota, ICE out of Detroit,
Yes.
ICE out of everywhere.
Yes. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rabbi Nate DeGroot. I direct the Shalom Center and serve congregations in Jackson and in Flint. I live in Detroit. I'm honored to be here, and I am dismayed that we must be here. My first relative to immigrate to this country was Lazarus Levy in 1880. He was a regal huckster who worked hard selling feather dusters in Boston, Massachusetts, and the surrounding area. Within my Jewish tradition, my first ancestor to immigrate was Avram, who left his father's home searching for a better life filled with divine radiance and free from idol worship. And within our textual origin story, the very first human, Adam Harishon, was himself a refugee of sorts, the subject of forced migration, being sent from his home of the Garden of Eden, Gan Eden, to make for himself a better life. As Jews, we are border crossers. It is in our name, Ivrim, Hebrews, the ones who cross over. We are a diasporic people, mycelial travelers through time and space who, like the spores from which the word is derived, know that borders are human-made, while relationships comprise the one.
Yep. There you go.
A people, as we've already heard, who repeat 36 times in our most sacred text, a commandment repeated more than any other commandment in the Torah, to love the stranger because we ourselves were strangers. And a people who know what happens when empire convinces its followers to turn against each other, to believe that there is such a thing as the other.
There you go.
It is within this context and history that we are here today, outraged by the abuse we see by ICE against immigrants in Minnesota and beyond, and heaped upon the community members who are putting their lives on the line to protect their immigrant neighbors. A community that has risen up in nonviolent civil disobedience because they know that the other is a bill of goods peddled by a grifting wannabe pharaoh.
Yep.
A community that has been inspired into action, organizing food drives to feed immigrant families who no longer are safe leaving their homes, escorting children to school, passing out whistles and blowing those whistles to alert neighbors of ICE activity, offering protective presence outside of preschools, singing faith and hope and possibility into being.
Yes.
A massive civil society effort to shield neighbors from state violence, much of which we have already heard. As people of conscience, we know that what ICE is doing in Minneapolis and all across this country is wrong. Targeting the easiest people to catch, tearing families apart, detaining children with no regard to citizenship status or criminal activity, arresting people at courthouses who are there to comply with the law, rounding up workers who are simply trying to survive in a broken immigration system, deporting people who this administration has made undocumented through their own predatory policies.
Right?
We are living under the authoritarian rule of an administration built on white Christian supremacy.
Yes.
An administration that has been explicit in declaring that this country belongs to them, that wants to cleanse the nation of people they despise.
No.
Over the last few weeks, we've begun to see reports, as we just heard, that ICE plans to purchase nearly 24 mega warehouses across the country to convert into concentration camps. As Jews, we don't need a reminder of where this leads. A number of my colleagues have been asking recently, what would have happened if in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, tens of thousands of people showed up to march and resist the tide of Hitler's regime?
Right?
What would have been different if faith leaders from within Germany and beyond would have spoken up publicly denouncing Aryan supremacy?
Yes.
How would history have shifted if a mass mobilization took root with boycotts, sit-ins, non-cooperation, and mutual aid at the first sign of Holocaust?
Yes.
I am here today to stand with my immigrant siblings, to stand shoulder to shoulder with faith leaders and organizers to speak clearly and directly, to play my small but critical part and invite you all to play your small but critical part, doing what we Jews wish others did for us in our time of great peril. Because we know that while this may be beginning with immigrants, if the administration has its way, it surely won't stop there. It is up to us to ensure that never again means never again for anybody now. Show up, speak out, and let your senators know we are not willing to pay for this. Thank you.
I am Christy McGillivray. I am the Executive Director of Voters Not Politicians, a nonpartisan pro-democracy organization. I'm humbled to be here because democracy is my moral calling, and we are standing here with faith leaders today representing every tradition that teaches every human being on this planet one solid truth: power corrupts. It always corrupts. And democracy is meant to make sure that that kind of concentration of power never happens.
Yes.
So I'm humbled to be here today, and I urge everyone to fight right now for their democracy. Yesterday, Steve Bannon, the former Trump advisor with millions of followers, said on his podcast, "You are damn right. We are going to have ICE surround the polls this November. We're not going to allow you to steal the country again. You can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want." That is a direct quote. At the same time, Donald Trump told Dan Bongino that the federal government would have to take over elections in 15 places. Following this, the Speaker of the House echoed Trump's statement: the federal government must take over elections in certain places. This is the context in which Senate Democrats have released their demands for continued funding for ICE. And in case Steve Bannon calling on ICE to surround polls and the Speaker and the President insisting the federal government must control elections wasn't clear enough, I will spell out why the demands currently being made by Senate Democrats are not enough.
Preach.
We are here today because we all witnessed ICE murdering people in the streets on video. They murdered these people while they were surrounded by crowds that were already filming. Cameras will not stop them. ICE is even filming their own atrocities and putting them out as propaganda videos. We do not need more footage of ICE murdering people lying prostrate on the street to know they are murdering Americans in direct violation of every single bedrock principle of our Constitution.
Yes.
Senate Democrats have said that ICE should be held to a code of conduct. They have one. They are violating it hourly on video. There's another code of conduct that is higher than theirs. It's called the Bill of Rights. It is
Right.
called our Constitution.
Yes.
They are breaking our foundational laws on purpose. They're doing it intentionally. They're violating the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. After listening to Reverend Jill's litany, they are violating the prohibition that we have in this country against cruel and unusual punishment. They don't need to be told that these things are illegal. They have been trained. They are following their training. That's why they're wearing masks. They know what they're doing is wrong.
Yes.
Any deal for reform is delusional. ICE agents have violated nearly 100 court orders from just one single Minneapolis judge in the past few months. Why do we trust any deal they claim to make? Donald Trump and Stephen Miller have been crystal clear, so we must be as clear as they are.
Yes.
They've told ICE that they have total immunity from the rule of law, and they've kept that promise. Alex Preddy and Renee Good's murderers have been whisked out of Minnesota. The federal government is not cooperating with the investigation. They are violating the Constitution, acting above the law, and we do not have a democracy if we are not all held accountable equally under the law.
Yes.
Democratic senators are treating this like this is a debate about law enforcement.
Yep, yep.
This is about destroying the rule of law, and without that, we do not have a democracy. This has nothing to do with law enforcement. The goal is to destroy the law. So, we cannot reform ICE. We have to end it. We do that by revoking every single penny that has allowed these agencies to become so dangerous, because they are going to use that $170 billion for a lot more. They are working with Palantir to create a database of protesters and dissidents. This is reported in the New York Times. They are using facial recognition technology to scan the faces of anyone, US citizens or not, that gets in their way and tries to protect the people they are brutalizing. They are going to houses of people whose faces they've scanned and intimidating them. Agents have taunted US citizens, saying, "Congratulations, now you're a domestic terrorist." Once this government has finished creating their database, we know what they're planning to do with it. We cannot trust any government to fund a project like this. Attorney General Pam Bondi gave up the game quite recently, right before the FBI raided the Fulton County Clerk's office in Georgia. She sent a letter to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz with an offer too good to be true. Give us your voter data and we'll call off ICE. This is not about immigration.
Right.
Authoritarians always use the same playbook. Lie constantly about the past, present, and future to justify horrific attacks on marginalized and vulnerable people. This is how they lock down their access to state power. And they've done it. They've got access to state power. Then they turn that power against democracy. We cannot let them run this play. We must defund ICE, take back all of their money, take away their guns. Otherwise, more of us may have to ask ourselves if we are ready to make the same sacrifice that Renee Good and Alex Preddy have.
Salam, peace, and good morning.
Good morning.
It's very hard to be the last one, listening to all this beautiful and powerful presentation, wonder what left to add. My name is Imam Muhammad Ali Ilahi of Islamic House of Wisdom, and a humble member of this interfaith community for the last 35 years. We are here this morning to stand for justice, because silence in the face of injustice is a serious sin.
Yes. Yes.
To speak out when we witness something that's wrong, immoral, illegal, unconstitutional, or against our conscience. It is our human and moral duty. Our holy books command us to promote what is right and to prevent what is wrong,
Yes.
and teach us that the murder of one innocent person is as if all humanity has been murdered.
Yeah.
Because life is sacred.
Yeah.
Being one person or the entire people, it's about life. The aggressiveness of ICE, arresting people, immigrants and citizens,
Yeah.
attacking and killing peaceful protesters, including Renee Good, a loving and devoted mother of 3, and Alex Pretty, an ICU nurse.
Yeah.
It's really heartbreaking, unacceptable, injustifiable under any circumstances.
Yes. Yes.
Yesterday, I watched the testimony of late Renee's brother, Luke and Brent, on Capitol Hill. I saw the tears and their grief. Also, I heard the testimony of Alian Rahman, a highly educated American Muslim woman who, despite of being disabled, was dragged from her car
Right. Right.
and arrested in a very brutal manner by federal agents.
Yep.
Harassing people based on their race, religion, accent, or clothing by those entrusted to protect the public is shame and disgraceful.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
No badge, no uniform, no authority gives anyone the right to terrorize innocent people, immigrants, or citizens.
Right. Right.
In Minneapolis and some other places, this has been about both immigrants and American citizens whose dignity and integrity were violated and who were falsely labeled as domestic terrorists.
Right.
So not only they were violated and hurt physically,
Yeah.
but also their integrity under attack and under assassination. Over the summer, ICE carried out aggressive raids in Chicago. Similar operation took place in Los Angeles, Portland. Now we are seeing increased ICE activities here in Michigan,
Yeah.
in Ypsilanti, Pontiac, and across Oakland County, with families terrified and children missing school. With this level of enforcement, any community can be the next target. We are witnessing two Americas. One America that shows courage, compassion, care, and humanity, sending the flowers and candles and tears left where Renee and Alex were killed. The other America shows cruelty and
Yep.
bloodshed
Yep.
and hatred towards immigrants, minority, and anything called diversity. This is a nation of immigrants. Both the Quran and the Bible and the Torah, all of them command us to protect the stranger. Isn't it amazing that the first and second ladies of this country are from immigrant family? And this is beautiful that a lady can be born in Yugoslavia and now be the first lady of the United States. This is the America that we know so far, but they are changing it. As we see painful contradiction, the US government claims to support protesters in Iran. You see all this military mobilization and the strongest army of the world in Persian Gulf in the name of, we want to help the protesters in Iran. And by the way, out of 100 people who were killed over there in the violence, as a matter of fact, it happened, unfortunately, I was there during those 2 nights in Tehran. Many of those guys not peaceful, they were armed. Out of 3,100, almost 2,500 are the policemen, security, innocent people. So it was, but still, he said, we want to help peaceful protesters. Why we don't help peaceful protesters in the United States? That are really peaceful. This is hypocrisy. This is a big lie. This is double standard. This is not acceptable. Still, I hope Michigan interfaith community has shown that when one group is threatened, others stand with solidarity.
Yes.
We have learned a simple truth, that your freedom and my freedom depend on each other.
Yes.
As late King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are not a small group. We are majority, actually. What we need now is the courage to speak, to organize, and to act.
Yes.
I invite members of our community, every community, your communities, we are one community, we are one family. Invite everyone to join us tonight at our online town hall and get involved in local immigrants' rights efforts. We are all in this together. We pray for peace and justice, and we pray for the innocent souls, the victims of war and violence in Minneapolis, in every state, in this country, in the Middle East, in Africa, and anywhere in the world. Thank you so much.
Are there questions from our friends in the press?
Just real quick, your reaction to Tom Hogan pulling out 700 or so federal agents from Minnesota? Anything about the take? Is that, do you think the message perhaps maybe getting through, or is this a calculated effort on the administration's part to retreat and try to advance the agenda somewhere else.
That does leave 2,200 more left.
And that means that we have to continue this solidarity and this work, working together. They gave up a little, but we need to continue this. You can use the mic.
Have you guys been in contact with the Michigan congressional delegation in regards to the funding for ICE and specifically our senators? And what's been their reaction to just the argument that's being made here, I'm sure elsewhere, that the demands that they're making to continue ICE funding is simply not enough considering what we've been seeing from this agency?
Senator Peters and Senator Slotkin's offices have been extremely sympathetic. We've seen a massive tone shift in how all of the congressional delegation in Michigan is talking about what's happening. I think it's imperative that we keep up the strength in numbers and solidarity and political pressure because the scale of the threat is that great. So far, they are standing strong, and we encourage them to keep standing strong, completely defund ICE. We have to take away all of their weapons and stop them. And the more people get involved, the more our senators are going to know that they have resounding support from every single voter in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I want to remind people of the town hall tonight. There's going to be a town hall at 6:30. That's going to be on the press release. Everyone watching and listening should immediately call and leave a message for Senator Slotkin and Senator Peters saying that the voters of Michigan are with you, defund ICE. And there is going to be another call to attend demonstrations to actually put people in the streets in Michigan, showing that we have the public behind us. This is not America. This is not what we want.
Thank you, Ryan, and your team for organizing this beautiful gathering. Thank Bishop Perry.
Any other questions from the press? Oh, press gets a microphone too.
Thanks for coming. You can go to a lot of different places, and I know you sort through stuff. And I know it's also not an easy time to always be a journalist. So I'm just to say, thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
You guys, you are amazing.
So before you leave, Carmen has, where's Carmen? Normally, like, the press releases are just for the press and, but you're special today too. You get a release because in there is a calendar of the dozens and dozens and dozens of protests that are planned for this weekend that you can attend and publicize wearing your lovely red stoles. This is an excellent choice. There is a link for contacting your senators, and there is the link for the town hall meeting. So please grab all that information from Carmen, take the QR code, get it on your social media. You're all leaders in your communities. Thank you for coming here. We need to get that word out. Now you can sing.
Repeat after me. Can you hear me? Well, I want it. Can you hear me? Repeat after me. No one is getting left behind this time, everyone.
No one is getting left behind this time.
No one is getting left behind.
No one is getting left behind.
No one is getting left behind this time.
No one is getting left behind this time.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together, never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
One more time after me. No one is getting left behind this time.
No one is getting left behind this time.
No one is getting left behind.
No one is getting left behind.
No one is getting left behind this time.
No one is getting left behind this time.
We get there together, never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together, never get there at all.
We get there together or never get there at all.
We get there together, never get there at all.
We get there